Good evening, Miss Dwayne Hudson and audience. Today we will discuss on purpose. Could your life be different? That's the question. But due to technical issues, we don't have our PowerPoint presentation up on the screen today, but we do have printed copies in your hand. So I'm going to ask that you follow along with me if you will. All right? So turn to your first page. The slide says, what is purpose? Webster's dictionary describes purpose as something set up as an object or an end to be obtained, intention. The world-acclaimed writer Rick Warren, who is an American evangelical Christian pastor and author, wrote, God's intention for each of us to use our talents and influence to do good as a way to describe what purpose is. Purpose to me is what you do with what God's given you in your life. How you put that into action to do good, as Pastor Rick Warren said. If you turn to your third slide, it talks about the fulfillment or happiness. How do you go through life knowing what your purpose is, but how do you, in turn, fulfill that purpose? So your fourth or third slide says, when seeking your purpose, you must also seek to know how to fulfill it. Aristotle, the ancient Greek philosopher, said on many occasions, purpose is the pursuit of happiness. Aristotle, in many of his books that came out in later years, wrote that that was something that he stated on many occasions. But if you turn to that fourth slide, it talks about fulfillment. Dr. Susan Balali, medical doctor, wrote on Psychology Today's website, sometimes when things don't happen in the time frame we're expecting, we think it all is lost, that we're wrong to begin with. So sometimes when things don't happen, and to sum that up, is sometimes when things don't happen in the frame or the time set that we set for ourselves, we can go even higher to what Dr. Balali was saying. We can put it in God's terms. When it doesn't happen in our time, it just don't happen when God says it's going to happen, but it happens on time. It's just not in our time. And sometimes we think when it doesn't happen our way, it's gone wrong or it's gone astray. But if we just hold out a little bit, it's called patience. If we have just a little bit of patience, we can actually, God can fulfill what our purpose is and show us what we're to do if we just hold out a little bit. So that's just simply called patience. And if we turn to our fifth slide, it talks about my purpose. I gave some steps on what I did or what it took for me to get to where to find out what my purpose was and to actually determine how I was going to fulfill it. So steps to my purpose. I had to, 1, discover who I am. 2, I had to choose to walk into my purpose. 3, I had to realize that the author, who is God, had already ordered my steps. And then 4, I had to submit to the will of the Almighty. So once I finally did these first 4 steps to discover my purpose, I had to actually walk in my purpose. And then I had to realize that God, who is the author and creator and the finisher of our faith, had already had my steps in order. So when I finally realized these things, I had to submit to his will. And after doing that, I was actually able to fulfill my purpose because he gave me that time. And this time that he was ordering my steps, I was able to figure out what he would have me to do. And that's why today I actually operate as an event coordinator at my church that I've served for 18 years as the event coordinator. So that was God already ordering my steps. But again, I had to, 1, submit to his will and his authority. And once done that, my purpose was fulfilled. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to close out this session. I want to thank you for listening to me today on talking about purpose. It's informative. Sometimes we don't know what our purpose is, but if we yield to God, if we seek him, he would give us the direction of what our purpose is. So again, I want to thank you and you for taking out the time to listen to me today. Thanks and have a blessed one.